Alright guys, welcome back to the course. So in the previous video we created this like and unlike functionality. However, it's done manually. So now it's time to bring it up to the next level and have it work automatically. And in order to do that, we will need a separate view which will handle the logic of liking and unliking posts. But before we actually create this view, we need another view for listing out the posts that we have. And this is something that we will do right now. But also in this video, we will handle this functionality of liking and unliking. All right, so yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna head over back to Visual Studio Code and I'm going to access the posts directory and find the views.py file. So over here, what we need to do first is to create a view, and this is going to be a function view that will, for now, list out all the posts, but later it will be extended. So we will be able, with this view, to not only list out the posts, but also create posts as well as create comments. Okay, so let's create this view and let's call it post comment create and list view. And this takes in a request. Okay, so first of all, we need to create a variable, and I'm going to call it QS since this is going to be a query set. So let's import from .models our post models. So import post, and here we are going to write post objects all. Okay, so we are storing all the objects in the QS variable. And now what we would like to do is pass it to the template. So we don't have templates yet, but let's create a context dictionary. And over here, we are going to name the key as QS. And to this key, we are going to assign the value of QS. Okay, so this is what is going to be passed to the template. So finally, we need to return render, and the first parameter is the request, and then we need to indicate the template, so it will be posts and then it will be main HTML. We are going to create this in just a second, and then the third one will be a dictionary, and in our case it will be the context dictionary. So okay, we have our view, so we can go ahead and save this. And now we need to register this view. So in order to do that, we need to create another file in the posts application called urls.py. And here we need to do some imports. From Django urls import path, and from .views we want to import our view which we created, post comment create and list view. Okay, so also let's add an app name, and this is going to be posts. And finally, let's open up the URL patterns and define, this is going to be the main one. So we just need to put in this post comment create list view next to it. And let's add a name that will be maybe main post view, something like this. Main. Okay, so this is now registered. However, it's not linked up with our main urls.py file. So this basically does nothing just yet. And we need to go to our main project folder and go to urls.py file over there, and we need to include the same way as we did for the profiles. So let's put it over here. Let's change this to posts, and we don't want to include the profiles URLs. This time we want to go to the post application and include those URLs. So we just need to change profiles to posts, and here we need to put in posts. So this should match the app name defined in the urls.py of our posts application. So we can now go ahead and save this. And before we test this out, we need to still have our templates folder inside the posts application. So over here, let's create a new folder called templates, and inside of the templates we are going to create another one called posts, and inside the posts we are going to have this main HTML. So now what we need to do is to inherit from base HTML and set a title. So we need to open up a block title, and over here let's just put in posts, and below let's define a block content, and for now let's just write down a for loop for and post in QS, or maybe let's change it to obj. For obj in QS, what we want to display is, for example, an obj title. So we want to display a title of our post. Title, well, I'm not sure how I named it. Title, no, we don't have any title, we have content. So let me just grab content and put it instead of title, sorry. Okay, so the final thing is just to indent this, save it, and let's just test if this matches. So we have the posts over here and main HTML, so everything should be working. Let's try it out. And here are our posts. So in the meantime, I created another one, test post 2, and actually I'm going to create a test post 3. So I'm just going to put in test post 3, and I'm going to assign the author, and I'm going to save it. So now if we refresh it, we have 3 posts, okay? So now what we want to do is to find a way how we can split this into sections. So we would like to have a section for displaying the posts, somewhere like over here. And then over here, we would like to have a section for the form. So through this form, we are going to actually create new posts. And we can do this in our main HTML. So we need to jump back into our Visual Studio Code and then head over to main HTML. And what we are going to do is to create another div over here. So I'm going to write down div class, and this is going to be UI grid. And inside this div, we are going to do the split. But first, I'm going to close it off. And here we can just write div class is equal to row. So we want to have this split in a single row. And over here, let's just divide this. So div class is equal to, and the grid system in semantic UI is a 16 column system. So we have from here to here 16 equally sized columns. So maybe 11 will give us the result, like it's from here to here, or maybe 10. And then for the form, it would be like 5 or 6. So let's try this out. I'm going to put in div class, and then I will begin with the 11 wide column. And here I'm just going to put in, maybe I can delete this for now. And I'm just going to put in over here posts, and then I'm going to copy this and put it below, and here I'm going to put in form. But now we have a 22 column system, and as mentioned before, this and this within a row should match 16. So here we are going to put in 5. And let me save this, refresh, and here it is. So here is the post, so it goes all the way up to here, and here is our form. All right, so over here in this section we would like to display the posts, and let's do it a little bit nicer than before. So inside this 11 wide column, I'm going to do another for loop. So for obj in QS, we would like to put in another div, and this is going to be a UI fluid card. And within this fluid card, we are going to create another div class, and this is going to be content. And inside this div class content, we are going to display our obj content. And then let's create another one for the button. So this is going to be div class content as well, but over here we aren't going to display the obj content, we are going to display a button. Just for now, later we will change this. Button class is equal to UI primary button, and let's call it like, and let's close it off, and let's save this. Let's refresh, and there it is. So this is looking much better. But of course, now what we want to do is to focus on this like button, because this is just a button itself. It doesn't do anything, and we want to have another separate view where we can get the post ID, so we will know with which post we are dealing, which posts we want to like or unlike. And in this case, we need to change this button into a button within a form. So what we can do over here is to create a form, and this is going to be for now just action blank. Later we will change this, because over here we need to provide the view that will handle the logic of liking or unliking the button. And then the method will be equal to post. And yeah, let's add a CSRF token. And instead of putting a form, what we are just going to do is to write down input type hidden. The name will be equal to post ID, and by this name we are going to get the data, and the data will be the value. So in the value we define the data, and this is just going to be the obj ID. And here what we need to do next is to change this button to a button type equals submit. Okay, and now we can close off this form, and we can go ahead and save this. So let's refresh. And okay, one thing missing is that we should have an input type hidden. So I made a typo. If you don't do the hidden, you will have a normal input with the ID. So sorry about this. It should be type, and now if we refresh, it looks as it looked before. So now we can go ahead and jump into views py file, where we are going to create another view inside this file. So over here, I'm going to define a new view called like unlike post, which takes in a request. And the first thing is I'm going to set a user to be equal to request.user. So this is the user that is logged in. So this is me, this is you. And the next thing is to check if we are dealing with a post request. So I can write down if request method is equal to post. Then we would like to grab our post ID coming through this form, as you saw over here when I made a typo. We have ID 321, okay? So we can get it by request post get post ID. So now we know with which post we are dealing, because we have the ID of this post, but we don't have the post object itself. So we can get the post object, and this is just going to be post objects get, and then we are going to pass as ID this post ID. All right. And one more thing that we need to have is the profile. So because if we head over to our models, here we have in this many-to-many field our profile. Okay, so we are going to check if the profile, not the user, the profile of the user is in this many-to-many field. So we need to go over here and define the profile, which will be equal to profile objects get, and the user will be equal to the request.user, but we set it as the user, so we can pass in the user. And now we can write down this if statement: if profile in post object liked all. What we want to do? Well, we want to refer to this post object again, and since the profile is in this liked all, so the profile already liked this post. So if he or she clicks it again, this means we should remove this profile. So we can put in remove and profile. Okay, and then in other case, this profile isn't in this post obj liked all, so the profile didn't like this particular post. So what we need to do is to add to this liked many-to-many field. So post obj liked and then add profile. Okay, but we are not done yet. In the previous video we did this manually, and then we need to jump into the like models and set this like object to this post and to the user manually as well. So here what we can do is to use the get or create method, and I'm going to write down like created, and this is the object and this is the Boolean value. If created is equals to true, this means that the post didn't exist before it was created. Okay, so here we can write down like objects and then get or create, where the user is the profile, because if we jump into the models to our like, here is the user field and this is the foreign key to the profile. Okay, so the user is the profile and the post ID is equal to simply post ID. All right, so now what we can do is to write down if not created, and then we can check if like value is equal to like, then we want to set the like value to unlike. Okay, and then we can simply write down else like value is equal to like. All right, so let's go down, and over here let's write post object save and then like save. So we are not done just yet. We need to go back to our main HTML, and over here what we can do is to type in the URL. So what we need to do is to provide the sorry, let me do it again, URL, and we need to go to the post application and assign a view. So we need to register this view as well. In the URLs py, let's import like unlike post, and I'm going to define a new path. I'm going to call it maybe liked, and I'm going to copy this, put it over here, and this is just going to be like post view. So now I can grab this name, we need to remember to save the URL's py file and go back to our main HTML, and I'm going to assign the name over here. So now we are going to this like post view. We have the ID of the post, and if we save this main HTML, we are going to this like unlike post view. We are handling all the logic that we defined over here, but what should happen next? Well, we need to return something, and we want to be redirected to this post comment create and list view. Okay, so what we need to do is to import from Django shortcuts redirect, and then over here let's just write return, and then redirect, and we need to go to the posts, and what was the name of the view? Main post view. So let's copy it and let's put it over here. Okay, so now we can save this, and yeah, I think we can go ahead and test this out. So we have this new post created. So let's go to likes first. I'm going to press the test post 3 like, and I'm going to refresh, and over here nothing happened, so this is actually a bad sign. So maybe I need to restart the server. Okay, let me try it again, and we have name profile is not defined. Okay, so this is obvious. We forgot about the imports, and we not only forgot about the profile, we also forgot about the liked. So from here should be like, and from profiles dot models import profile. Okay, so now let's save this, let's refresh. Here we still have 2 objects, and now if I press like, refresh, here we have test post 3, but we don't have the value. Okay, so over here we have only if not created. So we can write either a default or in the model, or we can do an else, and over here we can simply write down like value is equal to, in this case, like. So let's save this and let's try this out again. So I'm going to press unlike, and I'm going to go to likes and delete this object. And here I'm going to press refresh, like, and now refresh over here, and here we have like. Okay, so this is working. So now what we would like to do is to toggle it. So whenever we have the like pressed, we would like to see unlike, and whenever we have unlike and we press the like button, or in this case unlike button, we will see like. Okay, so in this case we need to head over to our views.py file, and we will also need to have a profile over here. So we can do it by defining a profile variable, profile objects get, and the user of the profile. So let's just be sure if this is how we named it. Let's go to profiles, models, and over here we have the user. Okay, so let's go to the posts, to the views, and the user will be request.user, and here we are going to put in profile and pass in the profile. So we can go ahead and save this. Now we are passing not only the query set but the profile, sorry, it should be like this, and this profile object as a value, and we assigned it to this key, and this key we can use in the main HTML. So let's just save it and go to the main HTML, and let's just maybe display it beneath the form to be 100% sure this is working. So let me save this, refresh, and here is the profile. Okay, this is the string representation of our profile. Perfect. So I'm going to delete this. And let's go to the button. Over here we can delete the like, and later we will style this a little bit differently, but for now let's have another if, and we are going to ask if profile not in obj liked all. Okay, and if this is the case, we are going to display iClass thumbs up icon, and I'm going to put in a like next to it, and let's just add some spacing. This is just temporary. We are going to adjust this a little bit later. And in other case, I'm just going to copy this. We would like to have unlike. All right, and this is not going to be a thumbs up, this is going to be a thumbs down. So let's save this, let's refresh, and here we have unlike, unlike, unlike. So now if we press it, we have a like, and we have a like over here. So what's missing is the counter. We can add a counter to our template because we have it over here defined. We have this num-like, so we can simply go to our main HTML, and somewhere next to the button we are going to put in, maybe let's add another spacing, and obj num likes. Okay, so now let's save it, let's refresh, and here we have one like, and here we have 0, and here we have 0. But if we press it, now we like this particular post, so we have one like, and here this post hasn't been liked by anybody, so the count is still 0. So we will finish off over here, and yeah, once we are done, this will look a little bit different, but for now it doesn't look bad, and we can focus on other stuff. So in the next video we are going to actually create this form so we can create new posts, okay, directly from here and not from the admin. So thank you for your time, and see you soon. Take care and bye bye.